Okay. Um, so I'm starting. Good morning, everyone. I need responses. Responses, please.
Morning, Bisola.
Okay. So I'm going to start now. I've waited enough, so I'm starting now. Okay. So today we're descriptive statistics in R, and I'm sure last week we did some things on functions and packages R. Doing descriptive statistics in R as reflected in our textbooks on page as if you want to follow along, although I'm using the slides, but then if you like to follow along, sorry. Uh, so if you want to follow along, it's on page 227 of your textbook. But I wouldn't be using the textbook, I'll just be using the slides to summarize what's in the textbook, and then I'll move into the lab session. So um descriptive statistics in R. All right. So the you're supposed to supposed to be able to summarize data samples. I want to be sure that. So use cumulative statistics tables, do cross tabulation, and so on. So there are three ways to summarize your data: summary statistics, tabulation, and so summary statistics. When you use things like mean, median, mode, maximum, length, sum, variance, and so on and so forth. Tabulation is tabulating your data. Tabulating your data gives you a summary overview of what your data is about. So there are different types of tables. We have the normal table. We have that helps you summarize your data in a part way. You would say that one. Also have the X tabs that helps you summarize frequency of your data. That's and we also have graphical way of summarizing data. Graphical is why not on mute? Okay. Graphical is using graphs and charts to summarize your data. Sure, we all know what graphs are. We've been using graphs since like secondary, primary school, and so on. So graphs are a very good way to get a good picture of your data in a short time. So summary commands. The ls commands in R, the ls command in R helps you see what objects you have in your workspace. And I remember I explained using the ls command to us that you can use the ls command to check what object you have in your workspace at any particular time. So ls command is very useful. Then you can also type in. So they are just trying to tell us the commands that you can use to get an overview of your objects, the objects present in your workspace. So they said an essential starting point with any set of data is to get an overview of what you are dealing with. And the ways to do that is you can use the ls command. I'm trying to open up my RStudio on my virtual workstation. So you can use the ls command. You can also type in the name of an object. Say you have an object with named A. You could type in A and press your enter key, and it shows you the content of A. You could also use the str function. The str function shows you the structure of your object. So it tells you what type of object it is, and so on, how many values you have in it. And it sometimes even gives you a short summary of what your data is about. So that's what the structure str function does. Then the summary command gives you a summary of what a statistical summary of your data object. So it shows you mean, median, mode, quartile, standard deviation, variance, and so on. So you can easily get an overview of what your object is like using these summary commands. Okay. Am I audible? Please just confirm that I'm audible. Oh God, I cancelled it. Please just confirm that I'm audible, please. Anybody?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So, all right. So we'll come back to this. So let me move to the next slide. So you can use the names command. So we're talking about names command. You can use the names command and its variants. And the names command helps you to add names to your rows and columns. So you want to add names to your rows, or right? So the first command is names, and names is used to check for your column names in your particular data frame. So if you have a data frame and you want to check for the names of the columns, you use the names command. Now, row.names helps you to add names to your rows. You could also use row names. Both of them work similarly. This is majorly used. You can use either one of the two, but they do the same thing. So they help you add names to your rows. Column names helps you add names to your columns. It works on matrix and data frame objects. Dim names help you add row and column names simultaneously to your matrix or data frame object. So you can do it one by one, do the row names, column names, and do dim names, or just do dim names once. So whichever one, they generally help you see the names. These functions help you see the names of your columns, and some of them even help you add names to your data set, row names and column names. So that's the names. That's about the name commands. And moving on. So we have the summary commands. I was telling you that we have the summary commands that help you get an overview of your data. And then we have some of the statistical summary commands. So these particular summary commands give you a single value. So we have the maximum, max. You put your data value here, which is X. So your data object. So whatever object you are trying to get the max of, say A equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, for example. So I'll not do too much, but then I'll just be showing us. So let me be sure that I'm in my. So we're going to still do the lab session, but just to explain a few of the things I'm saying, I'll be coming to the R Work Studio once in a while. And then please note that you can also zoom your screen on your own if you can't see what I'm doing properly. You can zoom your screen. So I'm on the home/HD user, right? So I want to set my working directory to graduate training. So I'm on home/HD user. So I'm going to set it to desktop/graduates. I hope this is what I used for. Okay, I'm making a mistake. Okay, so there's no slash at the back. It's an open directory. Okay, so I've set my working directory, and then get working directory. So I'm on graduate training. I'm on graduate training folder now because I want to be creating all my objects in this folder. So let me save this. Let me save this first. Save as. Let me save this as what's today's date? Today is 3rd of August. So 3rd August. Okay. So here I'm on graduate training. So say I want to create something. So I want to create a vector 1, 2, 4, 7, 6, 5. Then I want to get the maximum of A. So the maximum of A is 6. So that's what I was talking about. I was saying these functions help you get a single value. So you can see that we got just one single value here. Maximum of A is 6, right? From your console. You can see your console here. So this help you get single values. You can try other functions on your own. Now this NA.rm removes null values. So in a situation where I have an NA value, you know, an NA value is a null value, and I do not this is the RM. I've told you about the RM function. RM function helps you to remove null values. So if I had a null value and I wanted to remove the null value, I would have to include this particular function, and I will have to say NA.rm equals true for me to be able to remove the null value. So let me quickly show you something. If I had NA here, for example, and I did this, it will tell me my max is NA because I have a null value. But if I wanted to get rid of the null value, I would do NA.rm equals to true. So that gets rid of my null value because automatically by default, NA.rm is equal to false. So when I do NA.rm equals to true, it ignores the null value and gives me the maximum value. So that is about using NA.rm, and it's very applicable in so many functions because it helps you when you're doing statistical summary and you do not want your answer or your data to be affected by null values. So that is about the NA.rm equals true or false, the logical values. So let me go back. So we have the minimum. You can also find the length of X. So length of A gives you 6. So we have 6 values: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is about that. Then we have sum. You can get the sum of your vector elements. You can check the mean, median, the standard deviation, the variance, and the MAD, which is the median absolute deviation, which is not very, very useful as usual, but then you could also do that. So those are the summary commands that give you single values. And then we also have, you can check log for your data set. You can check the summary of your data set. So the summary of your data set, summary of A. So it tells you the minimum value, the first quartile, the median, the mean, the third quartile, the maximum, and number of NAs. So this gives you a summary of what your data is like. So that's what the summary function does. Sorry if I'm rushing because we have to move to the practical session. So I'm just trying to like give us an overview of descriptive statistics. So you can check log, you can check for quantile, and you can say what quantile you want to look for. So by default, quantile shows you all the quantiles present. That is quantile of A. Shows you, oh, is it quantile or quantiles? Let me confirm that, please. Quantile of A. Okay, so we have to remove the NA.rm to get quantile. So so to do that, we'll do NA.rm equal to true. And then it gives you the quantile. So the NA disturbs quantile. So the quantile won't give you any value without removing the NA value. So when you have an NA value and you don't get a quantile, you have to take it out. So I took out the quantile value. I could also do something to this. I could also specify what quantiles I want. So here, this probs tells you that I want you to start from, it gives an instruction. So I want you to start from 0 and to 1, but skip by 0.25. So it's going to give me quantile 0% plus 0.25, that's 25%, plus 0.25, that's 50%, plus 0.25, that's 75%, plus 0.25, that's 100%, which is 1. So I could also skip by 0.5, and it just gives me 0, 0.5, and 1. So this is start, stop, and skip. So this is what the probs function does. So let me show us. It's better to practice this kind of things. So probs equals, it tells you what proportions you want. So SEQ, am I typing the correct thing? Okay, SEQ, then let's start from 0 to 1 and let's skip by 0.5. So see, it skips by 50%, that's 0.5, and it skips by 50%. So let me tell it to skip by 0.1 and you see what happens. So it gives me 0, skipping by 0.1, 0.0.1 up until 1, which is 100%. So that is about determining what quantiles you want to get in your data sets. Any questions? Are we following? Any questions, please? Let me go back to here. Any questions before I move on? Okay.
Sorry. Please explain the NA term again.
Okay. I said any.rm gets rid of your null values. I've told you RM function. What does RM function do? It removes an object. So if I do RM of A, it removes A. Now see some error, object A not found. So RM removes an object, right? So let me rerun this. So I have A. So let me do A back. I have it back because I've rerun A. So RM removes an object. Now when I do any.rm, it tells me remove all NA values. It's like a method acting on all NA values. So it's removing all NA values. And when normally NA.rm is false. So when you don't indicate NA.rm, when you do NA.rm equals false, it's still the same thing as not putting it at all. So you do this, and you decide not to put it. It's the same thing. Okay. But when you put NA.rm equals true, you are telling it to skip null values, to remove all null values, so you'll be able to get a better answer to your query or to your script, because it won't work, especially for quantals. It wouldn't work because quantals take all values into consideration. So that's that about any.rm. Any other question? Are you clear?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to move on. Please give me a minute. Sorry, I have kata, so it's really disturbing me. Okay, so let's move on. So this is just asking questions. Okay, so cumulative statistics, they are those that apply sequentially to a series of values. So if your data involves interest payments received, you know what cumulative sum does? It sums your values continuously. So it doesn't sum everything once. It sums the first and second, then it sums the first, second, and third, then it sums the first, second, third, and fourth, then it sums the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. So that's what cumulative does. So it's useful for interest payments. It's useful. That's why it's used in compound interest. You sum, you get your value based on the previous value, not on the normal value. So summing continuously over data is cumulative summing. And then we have simple cumulative commands and complex cumulative commands. So that's cumulative statistics. You can read more on cumulative statistics. So we have different commands for cumulative statistics. We have cum-sum, cum-max, cum-min, cum-prod. So cum-sum gives you the cumulative sum of a vector. Cum-max gives you the cumulative maximum value. Cum-min gives you the cumulative minimum value. And cum-product gives you the cumulative product. So if I do cum-sum of A, so here, just look at it. I have 1 plus 2. 1 first, right? 1 plus 2 is 3. 1 plus 2 plus 4 is 7, right? 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 6 is 13. Or you could just do 1 plus 2 is 3, right? Then 3 plus 4 is 7. Then 7 plus 6 is 13. 13 plus 5 is 18. 18 plus any is any. Any is not a value, so you wouldn't get any value for that. So let me do something. Let me put any here and get the cum sum of A. So let me run this and then run this. Now see. From here, we had 1 plus 2 to 3, then 3 plus 4 to give us 7. Now 7 plus NA gives you NA. NA plus 6 will give you NA. NA plus 5 will give you NA, and so on. So you keep having NA till the end. So NA brings a break in your value. But there's something you can do to A. You can remove the NA values. So I could say, let me say A new is okay. Or let me say,
Sorry, ma. Wouldn't the NA.rm function in this same situation?
what did you say?
Wouldn't the NA.rm equals true work in this same cum sum situation?
It will work. That's what I'm trying to do now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. So cum sum of, let me do cum sum of A, comma, NA.rm equal to true. Oh, so cum sum requires 1. Okay. So okay, cum sum is just one object, right? So let me do something.
So that means we might have to use the NA.omit.
It wouldn't work because cum sum takes one object.
As in, what I mean is NA.omit. Like we'll call another a nested function again in the cum sum. So cum sum bracket open NA.omit and bracket open A. That's what I mean.
Okay, NA.omit, right?
No, what I'm saying is we call the A in the NA.omit. So that means I'm going to omit all null values for A. Then you're going to calculate the cum sum.
So you are saying NA.omit A, right? To call another A object.
Yeah, something like that. Or we just do cum sum bracket open NA.omit, then bracket open A, then two brackets close.
Yeah. Okay. So A here. So NA.omit works. Okay, so you could either assign it to a new object or do it directly. That's what you're saying. So you could also do cum sum of NA.omit A. So it omits all null values because the cum sum takes in only one value. So thank you for that. So you can either do this directly by omitting all null values using NA.omit, or you assign it to a new object, assign NA.omit A to a new object, then get the cum sum of the new object. So it's either of the two. So that's for cum sum, and you see it sums them and skips the null values. Okay.
Sorry, Daniel. I don't know if I can throw the question to you. Sorry, why is NA.rm giving us an error and NA.omit is not giving us an error? I don't know if you could just throw more light on it.
Okay.
So,
Can I go ahead, Bla?
No, you have to. Speak.
Okay. Like we saw in the example, cum sum only takes in one argument. So that means when you open the brackets, only one argument must be inside the brackets. Just one it's argument I can call it. So just one object can be that. Yes, just one object can be in that cum sum function. So, and since we know that if you use a cum sum with any that has null values, you'll be getting null values repeatedly. So we have to remove all the null values first. So, and we know that NA.omit actually allows us, that function allows us take off all null values in an object first before we now then pass it through the cum sum. So if you do cum sum open bracket NA.omit bracket open A It's just one argument. You have put that A inside the NA dot omit, then before you now put everything together as one inside CumSum. Or you can first call an another object that will reference NA.omit and the object before you now call the CumSum for the new object you just created. Again, is it clear now?
Oh, it's very clear. It's very clear. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. So I think he has explained to everyone. So that is it about CumSum. It takes in one argument. Thank you, Daniel. So you can also do that for CumMax, CumMin, CumProduct, which is the cumulative product, and so on. So CumSum takes in only one value, which I previously forgot. So you cannot use NA.rm in CumSum, but you can use it for other single value statistics like max, min, and so on. So moving on, complex cumulative commands. So we have cumulative commands. You can use the seq command. I've taught us how to use the seq command to create an index. So creating an index of a set of values with the seq command. So you have seq. I need space. So seq. Oh wow, I did this. So I told us seq, you can do 1 to 5 and skip by 0.25. It helps you create a sequence of values. So it starts by 1, stops at 5, and gives you a sequence by 0.25, skipping by 0.25. So that's what the seq command does. And then we also have seq along. So you can get a sequence of values on your data. So like an ID column. So if I want to get a sequence of values on, say, A, let me call A again, so we'll see what A looks like. This is A, right? And I want to get a sequence of values on A. So I want to get a sequence of values on A. I'll just do seq along equal to A. So it's going to give me sequence of values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, telling me I have 7 values, right? And assigning it's going to help me assign 1 to 1, 2 to 2, and so on. So I can get this like an ID column for A. So that's another way to get more like an ID column for your object. So I also have seq underscore along. seq underscore along does the same thing. It also does the same thing. So you can also use this instead of doing along equal to data. All you have to do is just to input your A into this parenthesis, and then it gives you the same thing that seq along equal to gives you. So that's about complex cumulative commands. And yep, that is all for this. So let's quickly move to the next slide. So we have row summary commands, which is like row means and row sums. So you can get a mean by row and mean by and sum by row too. So you can have means by rows and means by and sums by rows. So I'm going to give an example quickly on that. Let me do. I'm gonna have to create something. So let me do B. I want to quickly create a matrix. Then number of row equals to 3. Okay, so I quickly created a matrix, right? And I have this matrix now. I have matrix. I just want to show rows and sums by rows and sums by and means by rows. That's why I quickly created the matrix. So this matrix tells me I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So now I want to get let me go back to the place so you see what I'm trying to do. I want to get means by rows and sums by row. So let me do row means of B. here. So I have this row 1, 4, 7, and the mean of this row is 4. I have this row 2, 5, 8. The mean of this row is 5, and I have 3, 6, 9. The mean is 6. So let me do row sums. Row sums of B. So row sums 1 plus 4 plus 7. That's 12. 8 plus 5, 13 plus 2, 15. Then 9 plus 6 plus 3, 18. So basically, it gives me my sums and means by rows. So that is about using row means and row sums. I hope that was clear. This matrix, I just created it for the purpose of this explanation. So I hope we understand
Sir,
that.
yeah,
Okay.
how do you get the row mean of the first, like the first row? How do you get the mean of the first row?
1, 4, and 7. Okay,
Mhm.
you mean how do you get mean? 1 plus 4 plus 7.
Okay. No, okay. It's fine. Sorry.
Okay.
I was thinking the results were. No, I
Okay,
understand.
where this
I
column.
just.
Oh, okay. No. Okay, I understand you. Okay, no. So it's just number one mean. Okay. Let's move on. So that's about row means and row sums. And next slide. Next. Okay. So we also have the apply command. The apply command helps you do these things faster, as opposed to using row means and row sums. So if I did apply of B, so apply gives you 3 arguments, okay? Apply tells you can input your data object, your margin, and your function. You could also remove null values here. So na.rm equals true helps you remove null values, okay? So if my margin is 1, it means I'm referring to row. If my margin is 2, it means I'm referring to columns. So note that margin 1 is for rows, margin 2 is for columns. FUN is the function. So what is the function you want to perform on rows? Because I have 1 here. So I'm performing mean on rows on data object FW, and I'm removing null values. So let's quickly practicalize that. Apply B. What do I want to do to it? I want to take the sums by columns. So I'm going to put 2 as my margin. Then I'm going to put a function sum, and then I don't have null values, so I don't need to remove null values. Okay, so here, so sum by columns here. So I have 1 plus 2 plus 3, 6. 4 plus 5 is 9, plus 6 is 15. 7 plus 8 is 15, plus 9, 24. So I have, my apply function gives me a faster way to manipulate my data just by imputing 3 arguments, which is the data object B, the margin, which is either 1 or 2, 1 for rows, 2 for columns, and the function, whatever function I want to do. So I could also do the mean, I could also do the max, and so on and so forth. So that is what apply function does. I know that should be very clear. If you have any questions, just interrupt me, because I'm not going to stop talking until you ask questions. So that's about that. Okay, so that's about the apply command. I'm just trying to summarize what's in the slide.
Okay, sorry. I have a question. The row means that we did it take the average of the rows or of the columns?
Row means, did it take the words? Come again.
Row means did it do the average of the mean of the columns or the rows?
Of the rows.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So row means of the rows, column means of the columns, row sums of the rows, column sums of the columns. But apply just helps you put everything in one place. So you can manipulate your apply function to get what you want, as opposed to using row sums, row means, and so on and so forth. That's so many functions. But apply just helps you get whatever you need, just by changing margin to 1 or 2. Okay, so a matrix appears like a data frame, but it is not. So a matrix data is a single vector split into rows and columns. So you have a single vector split into rows and columns. That's what a matrix is. And then this is a matrix. It has some numeric values, blah, blah, blah. We have these birds, and we have these. So blackbird garden is 47, and so on and so forth. So this is an example of matrix. And then I want to check summary statistics for matrix objects. So you can get summary statistics for matrix objects. So I'm not going to put in all of this. Okay, this is a lot, but I'm going to choose, let me choose this part of the data. So let me quickly do this. So you want to create, we want to create a matrix now very quickly. And I'm going to do this by doing this.
Sorry, I want to say, can you just use the example part to just show us how to use that scan, we just copy and try using scan to paste it there. Because last
Okay.
time we took it, I don't think we really did it. Really
Come again.
use this.
Come again.
So can you use the scan command to actually just copy and paste this
This
into
particular part.
yes, particular data sets. Last time we did it, we didn't really do the function well. Like Emmanuel just showed us what it looks like, but we didn't really do a data set. Really.
Okay,
So if you can just use as example.
Scan command on Excel sheet. This is not an Excel sheet though. This is a slide. Right? Or do I understand what you're saying?
Yes, I think you understand what I'm
Scan
saying.
is for yes, scan. You can do that for when you have an Excel sheet. You can scan data from your Excel sheet, tables and so on. But you can't scan this. This is like a picture.
Okay, well, okay, that's actually like a picture. Okay, I was thinking scan also works for copy and paste.
No, I've not done that before. I don't know about that. But I know scan, you can use scan on your sheet. So when you have an Excel sheet, you can scan data from your sheet into R. Do you understand?
Okay.
You can try that. We can try that later. We can try that later, okay? But this is a picture, so we might not be able to use the scan command on this. I doubt it. But then I can check that up. But I use scan on Excel sheets. Okay? So
okay, thank you very much for that. Yes, please do.
Okay. So let me quickly create matrix. So so I have matrix 47. So let me do it by, okay, let me type them in by rows. Then I will indicate that I want you to read in my data by rows. So depending on how you type in your data. So I could say reading by rows or reading by columns, and I can type in my data whichever way I like. So let me just do this. 47, 10, 40. I'm picking the first three by 4. So 47, 10, 40, 19, 3, 5, 19, 3, 5, 50, 0, 10, 50, 0, 10, 46, 16, 8, 46, 16, 8. So, okay, let me just do this. Yeah, yep. And I have this matrix. Then, how many rows do I want? I want 4 rows. So, I want 4 rows. So, number of rows, that is n row, 4. So, I want 4 rows. And then I want it to read in my data by rows. So, I'm going to do by row equal to true. So, I want it to read in my data by rows. And then I want to indicate my names, so my row names and my column names. So I can just use dim names. I remember I told you row names, column names, dim names. So dim names helps you do everything once. So let me just do dim names so we can do everything at a time. So dim names equal to, so you're creating a list of names, right? So dim names is dimension names. So dimension X and Y names. So list of the first one will be your row names, and the second one will be your column names. So the first one, my row names are blackbird, chaffinch, great teeth, Wait, one capital letter. And house sparrow. Let me just do enter. House sparrow. Okay. And then I'm going to do for my column names too. So I'm going to have another list for my column names: garden, hedgerow, and parkland. Okay, so here, so let me expand my screen. Let me come back. Okay, so here I have this. Okay, so I have this. I hope you understand what I typed. So let me just explain what I did very quickly. I want to do something. I want this to be clearer. So I'm going to bring this back. Okay. So this is what I did. I'm creating a matrix. I have these values. I indicated my number of rows. So number of rows is 4. You can indicate your number of columns if you want. But when you say number of rows is 4, then it automatically kind of knows the number of columns it gives you to make up a matrix, right? So it just tells you number of rows is 4. So that means to put in 12 values into a matrix, that means I need 3 columns. So it automatically detects that. But you can decide to impute the column names and the column number of columns instead of the number of rows. It's still the same thing. So I'm telling you that I want it to put in my values by rows. So dim names, which is the names of the column rows and names. So this is rows and columns. So this is for the rows and this is for the columns. So I could also do this using the row names function, whichever way it works. It works whichever way, but let's just do this. Let's run this. So it's telling me I have an error. So let me see. Why do I have an error? Unused arguments. Okay. Okay, so there's an error somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Number of rows is 4. Infused by rows. Okay, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me just try something. Let me be sure that I don't have an error here. Let me see what this gives me. So the error is coming from here. Let me take out the number of rows. There's an error somewhere. Can anybody see anything? Error. I'm trying to check
Sorry, ma.
where the error is coming from. Yes, I'm here.
Yes. The three brackets at the end. I don't know. I thought it was supposed to be 2.
Oh, you feel that is where the error is coming from?
I'm not sure. I'm just thinking out loud.
Okay. Let me see. Okay, so this covers this. This covers that. I think it's 3. It's 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Can anybody see anything? I'm not seeing anything. Why is it blank? Okay, please let me quickly plug in my no.
Or will you pass the if you pass the values as a vector, will it work? Hello. Uh,
Hello. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so let me share my screen back. So can you hear me, please?
yes, we can hear you. Before you went up, I was saying, can you pass the values as a vector?
Yes. So
Can you pass values as a vector before you now run the command?
that was a mistake I made. I realized that immediately you said it. So I'm going to pass this as a vector first, then put it. So it's so in a way this is not encompassed into one. We have so many commands, and then so I either do it like this and put in x here, or I pass it in as a vector so that it is encompassed into one. So I have so many commands, and then it's recognizing just the first value. That's why it's telling me that I don't have enough arguments. So I either put it as a vector like this, like C into this, and put everything here, or I remember I did not put the C at the back. So thank you for pointing that out. So I either put the C at the back to encompass it into one as a vector, or I assign it to an object X, then impute X here as a vector. So that's the mistake I made. So sometimes you just things like you just keep your mind. Okay, so you just run this. I'm having an issue again. Internet 87 is an issue. There's still another issue. My row equals to true. Or did I change anything again? Okay. I don't know what is wrong. Um, what should we do? What should we do? Should I just move on? Because I don't know what is wrong all of a sudden. I really cannot point out what the problem is. Or can someone see anything?
The specified number of columns too.
Not necessarily.
just thinking out loud as well.
Yeah. Okay. I've not had this problem before. So data length is not. Oh, okay. I didn't run X. So this is X, right? So okay, then run this. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. So I didn't run X, and then I was trying to make this create a matrix with X without running X. So sometimes try to check that you've run your previous command before running the next command. So I've done that, and let me just show you that even if you don't indicate this, it still works. So this still works even if you don't indicate number of columns. You can just use number of rows and then you still get your value, so it still works. And then what is bed? So here is bed. That took a long time, but we achieved it. So yes, I created this matrix, and this is my bed matrix. So what was I trying to do? We have to move to the practical session soon. This has wasted a lot of time. So I was trying to create this matrix, and then I wanted to show us how to get means and use the apply command on your matrix and so on. So if I wanted to ordinarily get the mean of a column, right, in bed, I would do mean of bed, but I'm going to select the column. So it's row, comma, column. So let's do mean of row 1 to row 3, comma, column 2. So I hope you remember this. Remember how to subset data. So this is row, comma, column. So I'm saying, give me the mean of row 1 to 3, 1 to 3, and column 2. So this is column 2, right? And then row 1 to 3 is blackbird, calffinch, great tit, which is 10, 3, 0. So give me the mean of 10, 3, 0. So the mean of 10, 3, 0 is 4.333. So if I wanted to show you this ordinarily, so you would see what we're getting the mean of here. So I have blackbird, calffinch, great tit, 10, 3, 0. So it gives me the mean of this. So I hope that is clear. But if I wanted to do this using the apply function, not having to give myself headache, I could just do apply to this. Sometimes this is better to assign this to an object, okay? Say, okay, let me do this first. Apply to this, apply, oh, sorry. Apply to this, then, okay, let me assign this to an object. Let me assign this to an object. So let me assign this to A. Or, you know what, let me just put it like that. Then I'll explain that. Then I want you to apply it to the row, and then I want you to give me the sum. Okay. Okay. Okay, I know what is wrong. Okay. So for the apply function, you might not be able to subset the data inside your apply function. So to subset the data, if you had your apply function works on matrices, okay, and this is, so let me check the structure of this. Here. So it's not a matrix. So this, that what we did here is not a matrix. So I checked the structure of this. It is not a matrix. So the apply function wouldn't work on this because this is not a matrix. So apply function works on matrices. So when I did use the apply function of this, it didn't work because it is not a matrix. But if I did it on, say, bed, just bed alone, give me the sum by columns, it would work. So it give me the sum by columns. Let me show us what bed is again. So this is bed. So it's giving me the sum by columns here, here, and here. So apply function wouldn't work on this because this is not a matrix, as shown here. As shown here. Norm 1 to 3, attribute names, character. So it is not a matrix. So it wouldn't work on it. So apply functions work only on matrices. And then if you wanted to subset your data and get a summary statistics on your data, and you know that you would not have a matrix, just use the mean function and subset your data. Use the mean function on your subsetted data. So that is about that. So any other question? Any question, please, before I move on? I know I was very fast when I was talking about this one. So ask me your question so I'll be very clear. Questions, please.
hear me?
Yes, I'm here. I can hear you.
A little clarity on the apply function
What
command.
did you say?
Yeah.
Please, I need clarity on the apply command.
Okay, on the apply command. So I told you that
Yeah.
apply takes in a matrix, okay, and it performs on a margin of 1 or 2. So you could have margin 1. Margin 1 means rows, margin 2 means columns. And then you can input a function sum. So for example, on the data object bed, which is a matrix, I told it to work on the sum on the column. Column is 2, and I want it to give me the sum of the columns. So it's going to give me the sum this way. So that's why I have 162 for garden, this and this. So let me do it by rows so you understand what I'm saying. So if I do this by rows, see, I'm going to have it like this. 47 plus 10 plus 40 is what? 97. Here, here, and here. That's why I have 4. So that's what the apply function does. And it works on matrices. So the apply function works on matrices. So any other question?
Yes, the question. I don't know if you can do an instance of the com function. I am trying to figure out what I don't know. You didn't do any example of it. So can you just do
Of the
something
com
else?
max function.
Yes.
Okay. Com max of A. So let me show us what A is before I do com max of A. So what's A? A is this, right? And I need com max of A. So what it does is it takes in this is A, 1, definitely gives you 1. Then which is greater between 1 and 2? 2, right? So it gives you 2. So which is greater between 1, 2, and 4? It gives you 4. So let me do a better example so you understand. C max of C. So here 1 and 4, 4, right? It will take the first value, of course. Greater between 1 and 4, we have 4. Then greater between 4 here and 5, we have 5. Greater between 5 and 2, we have 5. Greater between 5 and 2, we have 5 again. Greater between 5 and 3, we have 5. Greater between 5 and 5, we have 5. So that's the way com max function works. Do you understand?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. So that is that. I'm trying to move faster because of. So this is apply. So the apply works on matrices. Sorry, I have kata. But you can subset the matrices at the end of the apply function. So that's what I was trying to do. I was subsetting inside. Subsetting inside wouldn't work for you, but subsetting outside of the matrix will work. So now if I wanted to do an apply function as this, somebody's trying to come in. So let me show you. If I wanted to do an apply function, which is this, and subset my data. So say I want rows 1 to 2. Let me see. Rows 1 to 2. So I can do 1, 2. Or let me do the simpler form first. 1 to 2. Let me start from here. So now 1 to 2. Now let me show you what the bed looks like. So bed is this, and I'm telling the apply function to apply the sum on the rows. Now these are the rows, okay? But I said it should apply it on only rows 1 to 2. So it's going to do for only black bed and chaffinch. So that is the way you can subset your apply function. You can also say, let me look for one here. So you can select columns. Say, I could say, C of, I want you to give me for rows 1, 3, and 4. Am I missing something? Okay. Subset, square bracket. So it gives me for rows 1, 3, and 4. Blackbird, great teeth, and house sparrow. So that is about applying on rows. And if I wanted to do for columns, I'll just change this to 2. And then I'll tell it I want columns 1, say 1 and 3. So it's going to give me for columns 1 and 3. And columns 1 and 3 are garden and parkland. And you can see it indicated here, garden and parkland. Please let me take care of this pattern. Give me a minute.
Okay, ma. Editor is in the lobby. Hello.
I think she said she wants to take care of something. She'll be back.
Give her
Okay, I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you. I'm just coming back. So tell me again. Yes, I'm listening.
Hello.
Yes, I'm listening. I'm listening. Tell me again. I saw someone talking, but I didn't hear you.
No, he just wanted to alert you that
Somebody wanted to come in.
Adetoro was, yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. So this is for columns. So I guess you understand the apply function properly now. If you have any questions, let me know. So I'm going to move on. This is like classwork. Okay. Please submit statistics for lists. We can do this um in the practical session. So contingency tables. Contingency tables are a way to summarize your data using the table function. So we have the table function, we have the F table function, and we have the last one, which is the X tabs function. So I'll show us how to create contingency tables. So let's say we had this data. So let me quickly put in a data set. Say, sorry, we had the I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 4, 4, 4, 6, 7, 7, 2, 3, 4. So if I had D as this, right? Oh my God, sorry. Okay. So if I had D as this, and then I wanted to get summary of D, it's telling me D left hand. data set, okay, data D. So I want to create a summary of D. I'm not trying to get a data D. Data function used for getting data set in R for loading data sets into your R workspace. That's what data function is used for. Sorry, I'm trying to battle the scatter and trying to pay attention at the same time. So table function helps you get a summary of your data. So table D. So now what does it do? The table function helps you get a summary of your data. So it picks out all your data elements. So in our data, we have 1 to 7. And then it's going to tell me, it's telling me the frequency of my data. So I have 1 ones, I have 4 twos, I have 2 threes, I have 6 fours, 2 fives, 1 6, 2 7, 2 sevens. So that is what the table function does. The table function has a way of helping you to summarize your data. So that's what the table function does. So I could also sort my data using the sort function. So sort D. So it sorts it in ascending order. So that's what the table function does. That's what the sort function does. So the table gives you a summary, while the sort helps you sort your data. So that's that about this. So let's move on to the third part. Let me see if I can just quickly summarize everything. Okay. So there's an example of a data set here, but then I don't want to go too much into it. You can check that out in your textbook. Create the data set and try to use the table function and see what it gives you. So, okay, so we have a bed data, and I want to show us how we can create a contingency table. So okay, let me go back to my bed data. So here's my bed data. Bed. This is my bed data. So I want to create a summary of bed. So here, it's telling me the frequency of my bed data. So it's telling me 0 appears once, 3 appears once, and so on and so forth. But I want it in a better format. So I want it to give me a summary of something by something. So I'm going to have to tell it what I want it to give me the summary by. So I'm going to use this function and I'm going to explain this. It's going to help me pick some rows that I need. So table bed, I want it to pick column 1. I want it to pick column 2, and then so let me see. Okay, so and then I want it to help me name this. Okay, so let me do it without naming first. So now let me explain this. Let me go back up. So I have 1 and 2. So column 1 is garden. Column 2 is hedgerow. Now it's going to take the values of column 1 and put them here, okay? And it's going to take the values of column 2, 10, 3, 0, and 16, and put them here. Arrange them in ascending order. So column 1 and column 2. Let me quickly do something. Let me view bed in another tab so that this thing is clearer. So this is bed. This is bed. So it's what it did was I chose column 1 and column 2. So it took all of column 1, so which is 19 in ascending order, 19, 46, 47, and 50. It took it here. Column 2, 10, 3, 0, and 16. 0, 3, 10, and 16. It took it here. So it's telling me, okay, 19 and 0, is there anything common to them? No. So 0. Because I don't have anything that links 19 and 0 together in both tables. 19 and 3. There's no 19 and 0 in both tables. 19, 0. Nowhere. They are not linked. So it gives me a value of 0. Now, 19 and 3. 19 and 3, we have one link. So it's going to count 1 from here for me here. 19 and 10. So 19 and 10, no link. So it gives me 0. 19 and 16. 19 and there's no 19 and 16. So it's going to give me 0. If you see 46 and 16, it's giving me 1 because I have a link between 46 and 16, which gives me 1. So this is the kind of summary it creates for you. It tells you the relationship between both tables. So it creates a summary of your data and tells you the relationship between the selected tables, so between the selected columns. So that is what table does. So if, for example, I wanted to add column names to this, I would do DNN equal to, so this is the way to add column name for this, unlike the dim names that we use. I'm going to add 2 names. So I want for this and for this. So it's going to add the first name, the first column, second name for the second column. So the first column, I want it to be what is here. So garden, and the next one is hedgerow. So I'm going to name it garden. I'm going to name the next one hedgerow. So here, so garden and hedgerow. Any questions, please? Any questions? Any question before I move on? Any questions, please? Is it clear? Okay, if there are no questions, tell me it's clear then, so that I'll move on.
Well, please, can you summarize that command? This command is on line 59 again.
Line 59. So I could create. I showed you how to create a summary of your table by doing this. So it tells you frequency. So table helps you get a summary of your data. But then sometimes you don't just want a summary of your data, right? Like this, for example, now. This gives you frequency. I don't just want frequency. I want frequency based on some specified columns. Let me be sure that you can hear me. Okay. I want frequency based on some specified columns. So I can specify my columns in the table function. So here I specified column 1. You remember it is row by column. So then I didn't specify any row. I specified column 1. I took bed. I also specified column 2. This is subsetting data. If you remember, use square bracket to subset your data. I took column 2, and then I indicated the names of the first one and the second one. And now what this does is it takes the first column values and puts them here. So if you look at here, you have garden 47, 19, 15, and 46 in ascending order. It puts it here. For column 2 that I picked, 10, 3, 0, 16, it arranged it to. And then in a matrix-like form, it checks for similarities. 19 to 0. Is there anything garden in 19 that is linked to edge row 0? 19 is only linked to 3. So there is no 19 linked to 0. So it is going to give me 0. Now see this. 47 in garden, 10 in hedgerow. 47 in garden, 10 in hedgerow. Yes, I have a link. So it's going to give me 1. So it's giving me frequency by columns. Do you understand?
Okay, I do. Thank you.
Okay. So that is another way you can specify table summary by column values. So that is about that. I want to quickly do a lab session by 11:30. So when you have a data frame, you have to first convert the data frame to a matrix before you are able to perform the table function on it. So if I have, let me create a data frame. E data.frame. Data frame are like are table-like. They are the kind of things that you use for creating tables. They are like an Excel sheet. Matrix is just row by column, a row by column representation, and it's not useful in every situation. But data frames are always useful, so it's better to put your data in form of data frames. So if I wanted to create a data frame, say E1 is C1, 2, 3, E2 is C4, 5, 6. So this is a data frame, okay? And I could also add row names to it if I want, but let's just leave it like this. Now, for a data frame now, if I wanted to get a table summary, it's going to do E1 by E2, okay? But if I wanted to specify what columns to choose, so let's say, let me add E3 to here, C of 7, 8, 9. So if I wanted to do the same thing I did with bed here, copy and paste. So let me do E. I'll do the same thing I did with bed to this as a data frame. Okay. Okay, so it worked for, okay, using rows of a data frame. Okay. So it will work for columns, but it will probably not work for rows. So let's do it by rows. So it works for columns, right? For a data frame. So let's do it for rows. Let's do it for rows of a data frame and see. So we have, I'm doing for rows 1 and 2, and I'm naming it row 1 and row 2. Here we have an error. So for data frames, if you want to create a summary by rows for data frames, it wouldn't work. So you have to convert this to matrices as seen here. So you're going to convert each of them to matrices. So you're going to do as matrix for whatever rows you are selecting. So as dot matrix, that converts it to a matrix. So as dot matrix of E here and as dot matrix of E here too. So this would work. So you can subset it by the 2 rows. And let me show you E again so you understand what I'm saying better. So you have E here, 1, 2, 3. So I subsetted by row 1 and row 2. 1, 4, 7, 2, 5, 8. So here, 1, 4, 7, 2, 5, 8. So it's going to check for the presence of. So here, and I have 1, 4, 7 and 2, 5, 8. So do I have one link to 2? Yes, I have one link to 2. It gives me 1. But do I have one link to 5? No, I don't have one link to 5. I only have one link to 2. It is 4 that is linked to 5. So it's 4 that is linked to 5 that is going to give me 1, which is shown here. So 1 linked to 5 will give me 0. So that is so note that for data frames you can't subset by rows in your table function. You have to convert them to matrices. And you could also convert it to matrix individually. Say convert it to matrix first before now using E in this function. That would also work. So that is for data frames. And there are so many things to learn in this particular session, but I will not be able to touch every one of them. And note that you can also transpose your data. So if I want to transpose E, I could transpose E and have it this way, and then now do my table function on the transposed form instead of having to convert to a matrix before doing my table summary. So I can also do, now that I've transposed it now, so let me assign it to E1. Now I've transposed it and I'm going to assign it to E1. So if I want to perform my table function, on this. So let me perform it on E1. E1 and perform this to on E1. E1. It's going to give me the same thing as what this would give me. You can see, because the transposed version and doing it row wise would give me the same thing. So I did it row wise and then I did it ordinarily on the transposed version. It will give me the same thing. So you can either transpose first, then do the table summary, or you convert each of them to matrices before you do the table summary by row. So whichever you prefer, it still give you the same answer. So that's another way of subsetting by rows for data frames. So there are so many other things to learn. You would definitely have to read up your textbook and to get more information, to get more knowledge on this particular topic, because there's so much to learn in this particular topic. So,
Okay.
but with the question.
Yeah, a question. I didn't understand the transpose thing you just did now. I was thinking if you transpose the rows are supposed to become columns or something like that, based on understanding of matrix. And does transposing automatically convert the data frame to a matrix directly?
Okay. So yes, rows will become columns in transpose, which was shown here. So if I see E, look at what E is, and look at what this is. Sorry. So CE and CE1. Okay, so this is E and this is E1. So 1, 2, 3 as column now becomes 1, 2, 3 as row, right? But then we want to perform the table function on the row values. So as seen here, I wanted to perform the table function on the row values, and I had to select this row and this row, okay, to perform it on the table values. Okay, I think I made a mistake here. So I think this is where you have questions. So I want it to be done on 1 and 2. 1 and 2, right? So because I know that I cannot do the table function on row directly when it is a data frame, I had to convert it to matrices, then now select the rows. So that was the way I was able to perform this table function on this particular data, because it is a data frame. I had to convert them to matrices. But then I could also transpose first and then just do it on the columns. So now this 1 and 2 that were rows have become columns. Okay, they become columns. So this is column 1 and this is column 2. So I can just easily do it on column 1 and column 2 now, and then I get the same value. So that's what I'm trying to explain. So this should be the column values. I think that's where you have the question. Are you clear now?
Just, are you saying that when you transpose, it automatically converts, it automatically forms the matrix, not the
No,
data?
I'm saying when you transpose, you can do the table function on data frame columns. It is on data frame rows that you cannot do the table function.
Okay.
So when you transpose your data, and for example, I wanted to do it on 1 and 2, and I cannot perform it on rows until I convert to matrix. How about if I just take E and transpose E and then now perform it on the columns directly? I would not need to convert it to a matrix then. So that was what I did here. Do you understand?
Okay, well, I understand. Yeah, no problem.
You don't understand.
No, this is that when you ran it previously, there was the error there. You ran with rows, you didn't use columns. But the row case ran for this transposed data set.
Okay, the raw case ran for the transpose data set.
Yes,
Is that what you're saying?
yes.
Oh, so you're saying that for it to have run for the transpose data set, does it convert it automatically? That's what you're asking, right?
Yes, that was what I'm asking.
Okay, I understand you now. So this was row. Okay, I understand your question. Okay, 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 okay. I'm even understanding that now. And it ran, right? But then when we did it on this, when we did it on this one, which is E. So let me do E. It didn't run. So let me check. Let's check this now. So I want to check this. Let's say Z. So I want to check. I want to check the structure on Z. So it's a table. It's still a table. Let me check the structure of Z. It's a data frame. Okay. So it converts it to a table, and it will work on a table. So using transpose function, it converts your data frame into a table. Yes. So let me see. No. Okay. So using the transpose function, converts your data frame into a table, and then it would work on the table. It's on the data frame, it wouldn't work. So you transpose your data, you convert your data into a table, and then your table is useful. Even when you are doing row, your table function is useful even when you are doing it by row. So I understand your question. So are you clear on the question you were asking now? Which is
Yes,
something I also just discovered too.
no problem. Thank you.
All right, all right. So that is that about that. I know some of us are still confused, I know, but then you would have to go into your manual. I cannot explain everything here. Okay, so you have to go into your manual to understand it better. So let me just skip to the next slide. Let me just skip to the next slide. I just like laying the foundation so that when you go into your manual, it wouldn't be strange to you. It wouldn't be strange to you. So we also have something called the xtabs function. Um, Let me see if I can use bed to explain bed function to explain this xtabs. Okay, so this bed is already in a better order. So I want to use a data to explain xtabs to us. So let me see. Okay. So let me quickly use a data to explain xtabs to us. So let me use let me get the data. Just explain what xtabs to us. Um, Where's my textbook? A minute, please. Let me get my textbook. Okay, I'm back. So I'll quickly explain xtabs. So this is the last thing before we do maybe one before we do say one lab session. Okay, so very quickly let's do this. Let's create this. So um beds. Let's create beds. And then let's create it as data frame. species equal to blackbird. Okay. Okay. Then let me just move to the next thing. No, this thing. Habitats. Habitats. So I have maybe I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let me do I'm trying to remember the repeat function. So repeat garden 3 times, and then 1, 2, 3. Then I also want a repetition of parkland. Twice, and then I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it's complete. So then the last one, the quantity. So quantity. So I have 6. So let me just do 47, 2, 46, 20, 30, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. So this should count as no, this should count as okay. Before my brackets are closed. So beds. So I have this. So I just created this table. So now I want to quickly show us what table we do with this data. So I can use the with statement. So I've not talked about the with statement. So I can say with beds, I want you to give me a table that summarizes species by sorry about that. I want to give you a table that summarizes species by habitat. So this would work. So it just summarizes species by habitat for me. So the with statement works perfectly for the table function, and it gives you an answer that even has your row names and column names. So what it did was it summarized. So let me just view beds for us in another tab. So this is easier for us to see. So this is beds. So with function summarize species by habitat. So like I told you, species, which will be the row values, blackbird, chaffinch, great and robin. Now it's going to combine repeated values together. Note that it will combine repeated values together. So we have just one great appearing here because it just picked one. And then habitat is going to combine repeated values. So we have just garden and parkland here. So blackbird, garden, we have just one. So we have one here. Blackbird to parkland. Blackbird doesn't go with parkland anyway, so we have 0. Let's see. Great teeth to garden. So we have great teeth to garden, 1. We also have great teeth to parkland here. That's why we have another 1 here. So that is another way to use your table function. So now, if I wanted to do X tabs on this, I would do X tabs So Xtabs helps you with giving a better summary of your data. So I'll do Xtabs. Now, what Xtabs does is it gives you column by one side and row by one side. So let me just do it and then I'll explain. So you're going to use this sign. What do they call this sign? Who knows what they call this sign? There's something they call it. Is it tilde or tilde or something? I'm not really sure. Then species plus. Does someone tell me what they call the sign? Habitat. What sign is called? Then what data are we using? We are using data equal to beds. Okay. So now let me show you what this gives us here. So now what Xtabs does is, now Xtabs does something different from table. Xtabs takes the quantity as your frequency value. Well, it takes the value at the left of the tilde or tilde function, I don't know, as your frequency values. And then it takes the other values here as your row and column. As your row and column. And then it tells you to put in what data you are looking into. So quantity. Now let me show you beds. So that's why I wanted to view this bed. So here I have quantity as my frequency values. So it's going to take it as frequency values, but it wouldn't give me the frequency. It will give me a value. So it's giving me value quantity. So that is what is going to be my values for the table. Now, species will now be the rows, habitat will be the columns. And then to give you, okay, black bed by garden. So black bed by garden gives you 47. Black bed by parkland. There's no black bed by parkland. So automatically it gives me a 0. So let me see 10. Great teeth by parkland. Great teeth by parkland. Great teeth by parkland is 10. So this is what Xtabs does. And it is a very good way to summarize your data. Any question, please? Any question? Any question? There's no question.
So I appreciate if you explain that thing again. Xtabs.
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 Okay.
Exactly. I'm just trying
Okay.
to get wrapped my mind around it. Please explain again.
Okay. Okay. I will. So Xtabs helps you to. So this is what Xtabs does. Let me just put this down. So Xtabs does this. Frequency data to to um, categories list and then comma what data you're looking at. So this is like the formula. I can call this the formula. So it's what it tells you is it's to the left of this tilde function, it puts the frequency data, which is the data that would appear as values in your table. Okay. Then the first variable after this, which is, for example, now you can put as much variables as you want. So the first variable after this was species, right? So this one forms the row categories. And then the second variable you type in forms the column categories. And then at the end, you put the data object, which is beds. So now, from my beds table, I have some values that I want to see by row and columns. So the value I want to see by row and columns is the quantity value. So I put the quantity value here. Then what do I want to be my rows? I could specify my rows as habitats. It depends on what I want. So I specify my row here as species and my column here as habitat. I could do it otherwise. So let me show you. If I wanted to use this habitat and use this species, see. So habitat is rows now. So it picks garden and parkland. And species is blackbird, chaffinch, goatfield, and robin. Picks this. So it just links them together. Garden to blackbird is what? Garden to blackbird is 47. Garden to chaffinch. Garden to chaffinch is 2. and so on. Do you understand now? Who asked the question? Do you understand now? Hello? Nobody's saying anything.
Okay, yeah, I think I do. At least to a certain degree, I do understand. I understand.
Okay. You know what? Just take your textbook and do this again on your own. You understand better. You understand better. So that's what Xtabs does. So Xtabs helps you summarize your data in a more understandable format. So that is about Xtabs. So very quickly, let me just go into the lab book. I know we can't do much again, but I think I've been able to lay a foundation, and that's my number one aim, to lay the foundation so that when you are doing it on your own, you would not be confused. So let's quickly do something in the lab manual, the lab book. Sorry about my pattern. I know it's disturbing, and I apologize. Just bear with me. Okay. So let's see what the first lab manual wants us to do. We have some values, a table, and it's telling us that it wants us to get several things like maximum claims, average age, and so on and so forth. So let's go into the solution. So it's telling us that the CSV file we'll be needing is in the home/Hadoop working directory. So to do that, let's navigate to the home/Hadoop working directory. So let's make sure we save this, and then let's create a new file, and let's save this as lab. Oh, this should not be online, please. Okay. So let's check our working directory. We are in graduate training, but then we're asked to navigate to home/Hadoop. That is where our CSV file is located. So let's set our working directory to home/Hadoop. This is where our file is located. So let's check our working directory now. So we're on home/Hadoop. So we want to see, we want to get the health underscore claim.csv file. So how do we check that health underscore claim is in our Linux environment? Let me get my present working directory, home/user. So let me set it to home/Hadoop. So I'm on home/Hadoop, and I want to confirm that file is present. So this is showing me dataset. So I want to check that it's present, and it's telling me it's present in the dataset folder. So let me check inside of the folders. Okay, so this is a lot. Let me come back. So let me check inside of the folders. So let's see. These are the folders. Let me check my dataset folder. Dataset folder. So this is my dataset folder. This is my dataset folder. And I'm looking for health claim underscore CSV. So it's here. GH. It is somewhere here. Okay, to make this easier for me, let me navigate to datasets folder. So datasets. So I'm on datasets now. So it's just going to show me everything in datasets folder. So that's easier for me. So health underscore claim CSV. So here, this is what we're going to make use of. So it's present. So I've seen that it's present. So I want to get my datasets from that folder. So I'm going to input it into health claim objects. So health claim health claim be my object. Okay, question, right? Is that a question? Okay. So
Yes,
how do you
yes.
okay, yes.
No, no. Sorry, we all have this data set.
Is someone saying something?
Do we all have this data set?
Yes, yes, yes. You do. It's in your it's said in your lab. If you check your lab, they said you should use that data set, like it's present in that. That's why I've been trying to navigate to Hadoop data sets because that is where they said the data set is present in. So there are some things that are in your lab, and I think this data set is also in your lab. And I can find it in mine. So if you find it in yours, because I never put it there. Okay. Can I move on? Should
You
I
can.
move on?
You can move
Okay,
on.
okay, okay. So I want to read my CSV file into this object. So read.csv. And I'm on home/Hadoop, but I want to get it from the dataset folder. So I have to indicate it here because I'm on home/Hadoop, unless I decide to navigate completely to the dataset folder here. But since I did not, I have to indicate it here. So dataset/health underscore claim.csv. A minute, please. Let me read my cat. Stopping me. Let me a minute. Let me mute myself. Okay. So here. So I have this, and let me view health claim now. My new object that I've read in. So here is health claim, and then it has 50,000 entries and so on. So this is what my health claim looks like.
Sorry, Ma. Do we have this data?
Yes, it's in your home/Hadoop environment/dataset.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. If you check a lab manual, you understand. So it's there. So I could check the column names of health claim. I could check the column names of health claim. Those are the column names. And I could also check the first items in health claim. The first items. So these are the first set of items. Give me 6 items just to see what my data looks like. So that's what the head function is for. Then let me summarize my table. So if I want to summarize my table by month, so I want to check health claim, the summary of health claim by month, because I have month here, right? I have month 1 to 12. So you can subset your data using this. I hope you all remember that. So you can subset your data using this. So it's giving me all the months, and it's telling me the frequency of data present for each of these months. So for month 1, we have 4,140 entries. For month 2, we have 3,186, and so on and so forth. So it gave me a summary of this table by only month. So I could also check the summary of health claim. I want to check what health claim looks like. Health claim. I could also check the summary of health claim. Mean, median mode, standard deviation, blah blah blah. For all the columns, that's what the summary gives me. So you can see it for all the columns here. For all the columns. So that's the summary of my data. I could also check the frequency of my table by age. I'm following your lab. If you are with your lab book, just follow by age. So R is case sensitive, so check the cases. Don't say it's not giving me what I want, or you have to check because age is with small letter A. So if you use capital letter, it's probably not work. So for age 21, I have 71 people. Age 22, I have 159 people. Age 23, I have 220 people, and so on and so forth. So that is the summary by age. And then I could also check for, okay, I could also check for ages by amount. So I have a column here that is claim amount. So I want to check how much comes in for each age. So I want to do a summary by age and amount. So one thing you can use for that is row bind, column bind. So I'm going to bind two columns together, and then they are going to give me age and amount. So the cbind function, I don't know if you've done cbind function. The cbind function helps you bind two columns together and gives you a summary. So I want to put this into a data frame. So age amount, let me say age amount. Let me use that as my object. So as I want to make it a data frame. So as data frame, I want you to combine two columns together, cbind, combine two columns together. And the columns I want you to combine together are age. Let's use the name of the column as age. And I want you to get it from health claim age. That's the column that I want to get it from. Then I also want you to give me the amount. Claim amount. And I want to get it from health claim column claim amount. And then yeah, so I'm going to close this bracket now. So I want you to give me age amount as a data frame, and I want you to bind two columns together for me, and this will give me a summary of my data. So I want you to bind two columns for me, cbind. I want you to give me age from health claim age, and I want you to give me column amount from health claim amount. So here, so age amount is going to give me this. So it is so many columns. Okay, so I can so it's giving me all the columns in age. So it gave me 5,000 rows, permitted for 5,000. So it wanted to give me all of the columns. So it's not summarizing anything. It's giving me all the columns available in age and all the columns available in, all the rows available for age by their claim amount. That is what it's giving me. And it's giving me as a data frame. So that's what I did. I just combined two columns together as a data frame. That is all. You can see it gives me all the rows. So I could just check if I don't want to always load such a huge amount of data. I could just see what it looks like by doing head of age amount, and then I get just the first 6 columns. So that is that. I could check the column means. I think I've taught us column means, column sums, row means, row sums, and so on. So I could check column means. I could check column means of maybe age amounts, because I have a new data age amount that I just created. So I could check the column means of age amounts. So it's going to give me the means of age and column amounts. So let's see here. So this is the mean of the ages, all the ages, and this is the mean of all the column amounts, all the claim amounts rather. Am I saying column amounts? Oh my god. So this is the mean of all the ages, and this is the mean of all the claim amounts. So that's exactly about that. Any questions? Let me put it here. If you don't have any questions, just tell me to move on. Time has gone though, but I'm going to take some of your time. Just tell me to move on. You could also do column sums too, if you want. Any question? Okay, tell me to go on then.
Please move on. Go on, please.
Okay. So I could also subset my data based on values. So I can say, let me do temporary claim amounts. I can say, give me health claim of claim amounts where, so it's going to be the which statement, which. So which helps me subset my data based on some conditions. So which where this is greater than 0. So let me just copy this. So subset claim amount where claim amount is greater than 0 and claim amount is less than 30,000. So this is like a conditional statement. So it's going. I just want where claim amount is greater than 0 and less than 30,000. So I want to subset my data like that, and then I want. Why do I have W? Okay. And then I want you to tell me what it is. But let me just see the first values. I don't want it to print everything. So these are the first values. So this is claim amount, and it's giving me claim amounts where, because it's just one column, so it's going to give me in form of a vector. So I want claim amounts where they are greater than 0 but less than 30,000. And this is a sample. You can see we don't have anyone less than 30,000 and greater than 30,000 there. So that is about subsetting data, and so on. You can check for the rest of them. Then there are other lab exercises here, and they are just showing cum sum, cumulative sum, and so on, which I might not be able to cover. I might not be able to cover everything, but let me just quickly do. What can I quickly do because of time? Okay, so let me move to lab 3. Try to do lab 2 yourself. Lab 2 looks like what I've explained so far. So let me do lab 3 that shows something about Xtabs. So let's read in the EMP recruit data set, and it's in the data sets folder. So let's check here. EMP recruit. We have something EMP recruit here. EMP recruit.csv. So this is what we want to use for lab 3. So I'm going to do lab 3 and try lab 2 on your own. So let's read in EMP recruit data set. I'm going to name it this, read.csv into datasets /EMP. So try to mind this. If you use small letter here, it wouldn't. Your dataset folder starts with a capital D. So you have to be mindful of your capitalizations. So by reading in this, and let's view it. Let's see what it looks like. So this is EMP recruit data set. We have admit, gender, department, and frequency. So this is what it looks like. So then okay, we've seen what it looks like. We can also check the first 6 rows if we like. Then I want us to create a summary in tab separated value, which is the table format, a summary in Xtabs with the Xtabs function of this data. So if you look at this, it would be best to create a summary where the frequency are the values, right? And then we can divide by admit and gender, or gender and department. But it would be nice to use the frequency as the values, yes. So let's do
Sorry, is it just me or she has a breaking network?
Not just me.
I think she has a broken network.
Not, the class is supposed to have ended now. The network is probably alerting her.
Hello, I'm here. Can you hear me? Like, where did I stop, please? My phone disconnected. Where did I stop?
Yeah, you stopped at creating F terms
Okay,
or
okay.
creating the summary with F terms.
So X tabs, frequency. So where is my textbook? Okay, so I was saying that you you want to use X tabs function to create a summary of your data. So frequency, then let's do it by let's do it by gender and department. So gender and department, and then the data is EMP recruit. So data equals to EMP.
Can't see your screen. Can't see
Oh,
your screen.
yeah. Sorry, let me reshare my screen. Can you see it now? Can you see my screen now?
Yes, can see your screen.
Okay. So so like I said, let's use the FREQ column as our frequency, and then let's do this by gender and department. So gender as rows, department as columns. So DEPT, this is DEPT, not everything. This is DEPT, and then data equal to EMP recruit. So yeah, so what's it telling me? FREQ not found. EMP. Oh, capital F. So R is very case sensitive. So let's be mindful of that. F. Yes. So this is what it did. So you can see gender. We have, so that means we have just male and female gender. So you can, so you see that even without scrolling to your 24 entries, it has told you that for gender you have just 2 distinct entries, and then for department you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 distinct entries. So female to art, the total frequency you have is 89. So anywhere you have female to art, it adds everything together and gives you the total here. So this is a good use for xtabs function. It gives you a summary of your data at a glance. And you can also do this by gender and admit. So admits, and then tells you, oh, admitted and rejected. So we have just admitted and rejected under the admits column, and then we have female and male under the gender column, and this is the total number of admitted females, total number of rejected females, total number of admitted males, and total number of rejected males, and so on. So I think that is all for now. That is all for now. So if you have any question, let me know. Let's do lab 2 on our own, and let's check our textbook for those parts we don't understand. A minute. So let's check our textbooks for those parts we do not, that we need more clarification on. Let's go to our textbooks. Let's do lab 2 on our own, and if you have any questions in the next class, you can let me know. But I think I've been able to cover majority of the basics of our class for today. Majority. I covered almost every topic. If not all, I think I covered all topics. So you just have to do lab 2, and then if you have any other questions, you can let me know. But as at now, is there any other question based on what I've explained so far? Any question, please? Any questions? If there are no questions, just let me know so that I'll know what to do next. Like, do you have any questions based on what I've explained so far?
No question.
Okay. Okay. All right. Since there are no questions, so are you saying it's clear? Hubert, are you saying it's clear to you? Everything is clear. Is that what you're saying?
I believe so. I guess that's why we're all quiet.
You? What did you say?
I believe so. I believe so.
You believe so?
Yes, ma'am.
You believe it's clear? Is that faith or what?
It's confidence.
What did you say?
I'm sure what you're saying. I heard you. I understood what you said.
Okay, you understood. Okay.
Yes.
Oluwatobi, did you understand what I explained so far?
To an extent, yes.
To an extent. Which part gave you some issues?
All the parts that were meant to practice
All the parts that
are meant to do our workbook for.
I hear you properly.
I said all the parts are meant to go back to our workbook for.
Honestly, can someone else say what she said?
She said all the parts that we are meant to go back to our workbook for.
Oh, that we're meant to go to our workbook for. That's the manual, the lab manual.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So, Toby, are you saying that you would go to the workbook and try it out? Then if you have any questions, you let me know. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Emmanuel, do you have a class now? Like, are you taking them now?
I'm not taking them, but I want to ask some people here. I give them assignment, they're not submitted.
Oh, okay. Because I said that. Okay. All right. No problem.
Yeah.
Is your assignments from the last class?
I don't. Was it from the? No. It's another thing entirely.
Okay. All right. Let me ask one last person. Richard. I'll release you by 12:15. Richard.
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay. Did you understand all I explained?
Yes, I understand, but I will have to go back and check some of them out again.
Check. Okay. Cool. Ivitamuno, do you understand all I explained?
Yes, I'm okay.
You understood? Great. Iola, Daniel, did you understand all I explained?
Yes, I must commend you. Thank you very much for charging your best for us. When I do understand, I understand. I know I will have to go back to my workbook and my textbook for more.
Practice, right?
Yes, exactly. So thank you very much, Salah.
Welcome. Sunday, did you understand all I explained?
Yes, thank you very much for the class. Yes.
What did you say?
Yes, I said yes. Thank you for the class.
Okay.
I'll go back to the Facebook to learn more.
Please do. There's nothing like practicing what you've just been taught. Don't wait till 2 months' time. Practice it now. I think that is all. Henry, did you understand all I explained? You were asking me questions, so I think you should understand majority.
Majority. From that
Yes.
extra, I just started drifting away, but I'll just go through it again.
Okay, cool. Who else have I not called? Ebube, did you understand all I explained?
Yes,
I understand.
Okay.
Good enough. Yes. Thank you. I understand.
Okay, cool. Adetoro, did you understand all I explained?
Yeah, I understand the part I was there. My network was quite funny, but
Yeah. Okay.
once
Please go to
I get the record,
okay, you get the record.
thanks.
Please.
Yeah,
You're
thank you,
welcome.
ma'am.
You're welcome. I think I've called everyone. Did I call you Bitamuno? Ibitamuno? I'm not sure. Sorry, I'm calling you again if I've called you before. Did you understand?
Call.
Called you. Okay. All right, cool. Thank you, everyone. Um, please go back to your manuals. Please come back with questions. That's the best way for me to know. Emmanuel, please, I'm coming. That's the best way for me to know that you've learned something. You have to go back to your manuals, try it out. Then if you have questions, then come back to ask me. That'll be the best way for you to learn. We cannot do the whole thing in the class from pali to pali, like back to back. It can't work. But then I would explain the basics and do some lab works with you. Then from there, you can go on to practice and then come back with questions. I think that's the best way to learn. Emmanuel.
You did not ask me whether I understand. You did not ask me.
Emmanuel, you're a boss. You don't need to understand.
I'm your student now.
You don't need understanding of these things anymore. You don't need it. It's made for us to ask if we understand, or for you to ask us if we understand. So yes. Thank you, everyone. I'm off. Thank you so much. I hope you learned something. Bye.
So if you guys are owing me assignments, please submit to. I should start calling names. You guys are owing me assignments. I said the deadline is Friday. There are some people here, they know they are owing me assignments every day. It will be Adetoyo,
Who are those, who are those people?
Let me call their names. Richard is doing me assignment. Iradane is doing me assignment. It will be Koli is doing me assignment. Adetoyo Adedeji, Oluwatobi Adeniji. I think Akomolafe is part of them, but Akomolafe is not in the class. So my script, my SQL script, I'm still expecting it for the previous step. So I'll get that at the end of the day.
So when you say the deadline?
I said Friday now. Friday. It's Friday and fast now.
Friday. I thought you meant this Friday.
Hey,
Friday,
okay, I hope I'll get it before analyst class on Wednesday.
Okay, no problem. We got you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you for the extended time, sir. Bye-bye, guys.
What's the next thing? Thank you for what? Extended time. I want you just
For the extended time.
okay. Sorry.
Thank you. We'll see.
Okay, all right. Someone should tell Adedeji to leave the call before she will do she will overstay her welcome here now.
Thank you. I will leave SMH.
Oluwatobi, how are you now? Okay.